Oh, well, hello. Welcome back for another week, another Thursday night to Comics Wellspring's live drawing show, Spilled Ink, where we're spilling the ink and spilling the tea. And I'm so hyped and actually kind of sad because hyped. We have some great guests on the show tonight, lots of newbies. I'm super hyped to have them on. Great combos are about to happen. But the astonishing, wonderful, amazing, fantastic co-host Max Flowers is not here tonight. So I'm running the hosting solo. But Max is, even though he doesn't speak a lot, visually, that's where he distracts everybody with the hosting and the conversations. That's why we keep him. Dude's freaking phenomenal. But we will miss Max tonight, and instead we have a pretty packed house of creators right now. I'm super excited, and we got people popping up in the chat. We'll say hi to you right now. But first, of course, I'm your host, Brandon Bloxdorf. And with us tonight, returning, is we have Carl Bourne working on a fantastic piece. Carl, how are you?
Good. How are you? Or you just said
Doing
that?
good, dude.
Yeah, this is going to be for This Comic Kills Fascist Dose.
Ooh.
This is the story Sarah wrote.
Oh, so great, dude. Man, that's I mean it's gonna make it. Like I'm gonna tell you. I might give you might be a little predetermined, but that's
Yeah,
freaking beautiful, dude.
here's page one.
Just
I got a lot of
epic,
background
man.
yet to draw, though.
Okay, cool. Dude, great. I can't wait to watch you do that. Awesome. And I love Sarah. She's such a great person. I'm actually meeting with the Zelda Awards Monday. We're working with them on some sponsorship stuff. So I'm really hyped. If you guys are creators and you haven't heard of the Zelda Awards yet, totally look into them. They are an all women's award show in comics. It's like the first of its kind, and there's some great history behind the name and everything that a lot of people I didn't even know some of the history behind it. So go check out the Zelda Award. Shout out to Sarah Cook. And dude, awesome, Carl. Love that. We also have returning guest tonight, my good old buddy from down the street. Thank you for watching my cats when I went to go see Blink 182 this weekend. Hello, Hobbs. How are you?
Hello, I'm fine. How you doing?
Amazing. Look at that, dude. That's epic. What is that? Oh, that's both your characters. How cool.
Yeah, so I'm working on this. It's like a promo piece. I wanted to put something together for people to sign up for like a newsletter, and
Nice.
I did the black and white version. I never got a chance to color it, so I thought this would be a good opportunity for me to color it. It's got kind of like a little bit of all my characters, and one of Jeremy's characters is on there too. So I got the Green Knight, Fuzz Bouquet, Sagi Biscotti, Mrs. Nibby New, and we've got Neil, and Neil is from one of Jeremy's books, Perils,
Ooh,
and yeah, and so this scroll is like where people would sign up and stuff. So that's what I'm working on.
that's that's awesome. That's a great idea too, actually. I might steal that down the line for sure. Super sick. And with us is your partner in crime as well, appearing for the first time, Jeremy Vinyard. Dude, Jeremy, how are you, man? Super hyped to see you again.
Good. How are you guys doing? Thanks for having me.
Of course, I say again because I've seen you, but the crowd
Yeah.
hasn't. But
Yeah.
what are you working on tonight?
I am drawing actually Jerry's D&D character for our campaign that we just started back up. So
Oh, sick! Oh,
not
I can't wait to
nothing
talk about that.
nothing comic related, but I've been drawing all the players in our campaigns, and he's the last one I have left to do. So I
Oh,
thought
how
I would use this
sick!
opportunity to do that.
That's awesome. Oh man, I can't wait to hear more about that. I mean, I know, but we're gonna talk about to the crowd audience. It's weird when you know people because then you're just like, we're gonna have conversations that I hope I paid attention the first time. Uh, and joining us for the first time, dude, I love this guy's work so much. We have T.Q.Stegall-Smith of the Routine with us. Tyler, dude, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Mm. It's been a minute since we've hung out and spoken, actually, for almost like a year. Time flies by since we hung out at Heroes.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's the
what are you
one and
working
only
on?
time we've hung out.
Yeah.
Just that one Heroes Con. That was enough.
What are you working on yet?
So I've been lettering for like 2 weeks now, so I'm a little rusty today. But I'm doing the last page of each routine issue we do. We do like a next time on. It's kind of like it's a spoof on next time on. So this is like stuff that's not actually going to happen. It's kind of a joke page.
That
But
sounds fun.
yeah, it was the only page I could think of to do for this. So that's what's happening.
That's awesome, dude. I mean, I remember reading issue 1 of the routine, and I was just so blown away by just the combination of you and John. Like, your art is so detailed and so phenomenal, and then the story itself is just so much fun and bombastic and well told. You guys really are a great coupling, to be honest. I love what you've been doing. I can't wait to watch you draw for a bit. I've only seen you do kind of like thumbnails, like light sketches and whatnot, really messy.
Yeah, and I mean, hopefully this doesn't end up too messy, too, because like I said, I'm just coming off of lettering and not inking for a while now. But yeah, it's I also think John and I are a great couple. Don't tell him that.
Never give John the pleasure. Should give him crap forever. Let's pop into the chat really quick. We have Victor Mendia saying hi. Hello, dude. I love this guy's name. Retro Roman Doomsday and Simulation Channel. Greetings, everyone. How you doing, my guy? Salvatore Comics. Hey. William Ibanez, my dude. I can't wait to see you on Saturday. Gamma Head Press. Oh, it's our boy AJ. Dude, I'm working on Fake Your Death right now. You'll be getting some stuff this next week. And then this all looks great, but the Green Knight rocks. Hell yeah, dude. Apex Comics, bombastic, and then John, I heard all of it. I love John so much. He's so phenomenal. Dude, oh gosh, so we have so many campaigns going on right now. We'll do a little roundtable again. Jeremy and Hobbs, since yours is wrapping up in the next couple of days, I want to say.
Yeah,
we're that
we're
close
done
already?
on Tuesday.
Oh my god. Yeah, you're right. Holy crap.
Man, that is crazy. How you guys feeling about the campaign? What have you enjoyed and what have you not enjoyed about this campaign?
Oh boy, I want to stay positive, but Kickstarter's for me is becoming a harder and harder, trek uphill. When I first started, I guess it was like 8 years ago. It seemed like there were more eyes coming through, organically. And now it just seems really hard to get people to notice that you're out there. So that's been like the hardest thing to deal with, honestly. I love seeing like people get excited about the project. I mean, that's so cool. And that's the best thing about Kickstarter, right? Is that like you finally get to see a little bit of excitement about other people, looking at your work, understanding your work, or just getting exposed to your work. But yeah, I don't know. It's left me thinking like, I don't know if I want to do Kickstarter again, or maybe I just like get another job and use that money to publish.
Slaying pizzas for 2 months to pay for like printing. And,
I don't know, because
like,
there's a lot of work on the front end of Kickstarter and the back end, setting up your campaign, doing a video. I guess that's the other thing. Like, used to be like a video was kind of like a big deal, but it seems like, and I could be wrong, maybe it's just mine, but it seems like the video thing is kind of like, you can have one if you want one, but it's not super necessary. And so like all of that stuff was like a big time sink that I wonder, like, would my efforts have been better spent on working on, creative work instead of marketing work? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, for sure. What about you, Jeremy? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I'm super pleased we hit the goal like relatively quick. I think it was within the first week, maybe. So that's pretty great. I agree with the sentiments about Kickstarter in general. It's a lot of not only work but stress and I don't know what the word is, but like I don't know, it can be pretty depressing. But and it seems it feels a lot like the way just social media is in general right now. Like like Jerry was saying, it's not really conducive for like outreach. It just kind of seems to help with anything existing that you already have, any existing audience you already have. So trying to get anything new it's just not really practical anymore.
I get that. Yeah, I think there's so much to take in consideration there, and I really want to hear what Tyler has to say about it too. But like, what are you enjoying about this Kickstarter you're doing? It's what your third one for issue 3. How does this one like this? I know you just kicked off this week, but how are you feeling entering this month of insanity?
A little. I don't know. I keep waiting for like the time where we start one, and I'm just super confident that we're gonna complete it. But doesn't seem like that's gonna be this one. But yeah, like it was. I think the coolest part was like starting it because I think we're like barely a week in, and seeing like all the fans come back. But now it's gonna be like the waiting game to see if we actually meet the goal by the end of the month. Yeah, I don't know. John is responsible for he's responsible for a lot of the marketing part of it. And so he's kind of like showing me the ropes with that half as we go. So I don't feel like I get the full picture of what running the whole thing is like quite yet.
I can totally see that. It is. I mean, it's so much running a campaign and just trying to break through the medium right now on social media. Like it's I know everyone's algorithms are a little bit different and whatnot, but it's hard to like keep up with like art posts and promotional posts and everything. I think I landed pretty well on the CWS page, but like my personal and the Apollo page, stuff just gets buried. And then as you know, events happen, it just gets more buried because then everyone's posting something about something, and you're like, I can't even promote my stuff today because there was like a global event. And
Yeah.
now like it's just gonna get drowned. Throughout all of it.
Well, you guys have probably been doing Kickstarters longer than we have. Was it always like, it feels to me like there's more celebrities on there now pushing stuff.
Hands down.
Whereas I was like, when we started, it felt like it was more indie stuff. Like there was on the front page, they had like Hugo Weaving gets his audiobook funded. And I was like, no shit. But yeah, I'm not sure how long everybody's been using it here.
I did my first one in 2020, I think, and then not another one again until I think a couple years ago.
Okay, that's a while.
Yeah.
I think mine was in 2016 or 2017 when I first started. And I agree. It wasn't as many celebrities and publishers. Like there's other publishers that use it now. So it's like it started as kind of this indie tool, I think. But, you know, there's a lot of money to be made through publishing, you know, 100,000 copies, over 1,000 copies of something, or, you know, other celebrities. Who is it that was on there? That famous lady, bright colors. Lisa Frank. Lisa Frank had something. So it's like when Lisa Frank's using Kickstarter, it's kind of like, okay, well, I guess
stay in your lane. Get back. Don't you have Trapper Keeper money?
Yeah. So yeah, it's changed, and then there are more too, right? So there's more crowdfunding sites too. So I think there's the audience is dispersed a little bit more, I guess. But I'm not sure if that even matters when you're the small fish in the big pond. So that being said, I think if you hit it right and your stuff is really good and you get promoted by a little bit here and a little bit there, I think things can really explode. So I think the potential is still there, but it does feel different.
Yeah, I could, even from my first, I guess 3 campaigns we did with our anthologies. Well, we started in 2023 doing Kickstarters, so we're still, time wise, we're relatively fresh at it in a sense. But I think I've helped run like 12, 15 Kickstarters at this point, from various lengths, from a month to 2 weeks to I'm helping someone with like a 60-day Kickstarter right now, and it's weird. I noticed the people who are having those big booming successful Kickstarters where they're hitting, like $8,000, 10,000, 15, 18. They all have a couple things in common. Like they have backers waiting before their stuff goes even live. Like they've already sold pages and put it on, they've guaranteed some rewards, which is kind of smart. You're kind of like pre-launching in person and selling stuff and just letting people know, and it's a strong approach, but you have to have connections for that, I guess, or a fan base built. But that's another thing, a fan base that's consistent. I know these guys, they just my neighbor necromancer Dylan, and I'm spacing out the other guy's name. I'll think of it right now, but they hit like what, 13K, and it was like the last few hours, but they hit it.
Wow.
But breaking through, like, I don't know, the publishers and stuff like that. I think Saboteur just asked about that too. I'll bring that up. But I don't know. I feel like we're all getting drowned out, but it's a different landscape. I also think of it like, we were all booming during COVID, and 2020 to 2022, I think were like prime times for Kickstarters, because people were making their first books. People were spending the money because they had the time to look on Kickstarter. But as time changed a little bit over the last couple of years, you lose so many remote jobs, then people are going back to the office, people are making less comics or having time to make comics in general. And then you kind of have some shifts happen, because I feel like there might even be some trust being lost with crowdfunding in some instances. Backers getting burned by people not sending their stuff in like a reasonable time or at all. Little mishaps that might have happened, which may have discouraged people from coming back to the platform to support people, or people getting upset from backers who are backing and then dropping money, with changing their pledge and pulling their pledge or whatever, and that hurts a lot, and that's really stressful. I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of layers there that have kind of conned us more than pro'd at some points, but I don't know. While we ponder on that, let me go through these comments real fast. Apex Comics says, the comic market are saturated with crowdfunding comic book projects. You may need to advertise outside of social media to get more eyes on your books. That's very true too. Breaking out of the con circuit and going into stuff. I feel like, Hobbs, you do that fairly often in a sense. Not doing traditional comic cons that people are doing or festivals that people do.
I try, if there's an opportunity, that kind of was just a shift that happened like really last year, so I've been doing it for maybe a year and a half or so. But like looking at like local places like libraries, teaching workshops, doing things for free, but just kind of embracing the excitement that people have about drawing and telling stories. And I think that goodwill, it comes back in your favor, because you're sharing something you love with people, and they want to support you back. So I think those types of opportunities are good if they come around, and they're usually free. Local shops, if you can get into a local shop, I've sold more comic books doing things at local shops than I ever do at like big cons. And I think people come in and they like comics, and you're there's only maybe 2 or 3 of you there, and you get to have conversations. They get to stop and look at your work. That's usually like where I see the most success for me. But I'm sure it varies from person to person depending on your experiences. But I think that, like, just finding your crowd is the hard part, because when you do the crowdfunding, if you have a crowd that's coming with you, you're probably going to be fine. But I think I'm in the point where I need to find that crowd first, and so that's the real challenge.
Makes sense. Saboteur Comics kind of continues. I'm on every platform. It's so freaking hard on any of them. Yeah, dude, I get that. Launching that new little segment, that Cats, Comics, and Coffee, I'm kind of just observing results on different platforms, and it's weird breaking through on different ones or like not having success at all on other ones. It's a little frustrating in some senses, but because it's always the ones that you like I don't care if I do well on TikTok right now, but like I want to do better on YouTube. But then it's like, oh well, I was hoping this one would do well and it did terrible, and then you're trying to balance it out. Plus managing all these accounts sucks. How does everyone feel when big publishers come in to ask for funding? Oh,
Yeah, they need the money too. They're hard up.
Is
How
it
else
fair that there's a
didn't Todd
shared platform?
McFarlane do like a Kickstarter for like a toy? Like, that's your thing, Todd. Why are you kickstarting this?
Dude,
Anyway,
yeah,
sorry,
and
I
straight up.
interrupted.
No. I mean, that's a great point. Like, and actually, I backed that first Todd Kickstarter because I wasn't even making comics then. I wasn't kickstarting, and I was like, oh, cool, I could finally get a cool action figure, and they're crowdfunding it. But now I'm like, dude, that pulled so much attention away from comics and that IDW stuff. Apex Comics is saying that means the publishers are in financial trouble. And Saboteur saying, I mean, guys like Image, etc. But I mean, even then, like, you have IDW and Image and all these companies, Marvel, doing like Kickstarters for art books instead of just listing them up.
Yeah, that's a
I'm
good
wondering
point.
if like the publishers probably don't even need the money, but they know it's a trending thing right now for crowdfunding and to like support something, and they know that there's kind of that now or never aspect to collecting stuff on Kickstarter. Like, it may just be the only print that they ever make of some of these books. And they're chasing like they're using it as a marketing scheme and not like a necessity.
That would be wild.
I think that makes sense.
Did I just
You'd be
crack the
pushing
code
this
on
out
everything?
too.
I do feel like that's a bigger aspect too, is like we struggle to like get our name out there, and then I think we're getting buried by NSFW and some AI stuff, and I feel like it's harder to see actually like good comic content to pop up naturally on the feed. Apex is saying, I'm a lost comic creator from the late 90s. Distribution was terrible back then. I didn't know how to set up a sign up list, but I launched on Fund My Comic with Fenbat, and I have 43 backers. Oh, wow. See, I've heard of stuff like that too. I think there has to be a centralized partnership platform of some sort to really get, like, this is where you go if you want to back indie books, and it's true underground indie in a sense.
Yeah.
Because have you guys used any other platform besides Kickstarter?
Yeah.
I haven't used any, but I've heard that Indiegogo is becoming more popular with comics.
Oh, really?
And you get to keep whether you fund or not. You keep however much money you make.
I've heard that's just like the safer bet behind it. In general, like that's why it gets more appeal in a sense as well.
We've only done Kickstarter.
Yeah, I've only done that as well. I'm kind of scared to switch platforms in a sense. It's kind of like once you're in the Apple integration system, you're like, well, I guess I'm gonna use Apple forever. You know what I mean?
I've heard of people that, well, I've heard that some of these have like systems that'll actually transfer your campaign to the other ones. And I've heard of people running it on both, as well. Or
Homebrew did that, but I think it was Bigfoot Knows Karate or one of their books. They just ran a Kickstarter, and then right after that ran an Indiegogo and picked up like an extra $500 or something.
Mm.
That's smart. See, I could see that, like to really bring in just like another 30-day campaign stacked at that point.
Then you got to learn 2 systems and how to fulfill and all that.
So I'm trying to think. So if you did that, okay, so this might make some sense. My thing just locked on me for some reason. I think I would do that and like spend, it takes 2 weeks to get your Kickstarter money, just about after you've completed your campaign. And if I ran an Indiegogo like immediately after, or even say a week after, I'd probably use all that money for like printing as much as I could and just like stocking up on stuff. And then I would use any of the Indiegogo money just to cover shipping.
Mm.
Like just bank that and like use that as your shipping money basically. Because even if you got $100, $200, $300, I'd probably cover all of your shipping in general for whatever campaign you did.
That gives me an ulcer just thinking about all of the all of the juggling. I don't know. I guess that's the other thing, is that this whole part of the process is so unattractive for me that the thought of like finding a publisher is becoming more and more and more attractive, because if that's possible, because like it just eats away like the stress of when you're running a Kickstarter and you're worried about it going through and all of that, and then the stress of fulfillment afterwards. I don't know. I just and maybe it's because like I'm in the middle of it. Like give me a year and I'll be like, Kickstarter will be great. But like right now it's just a lot of responsibility and stress that I'm just kind of not fond of at the moment.
And when you're doing all that, how much writing and drawing are you getting done?
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing, is that it's completely consuming. And I've been just doing layouts too. I mean, with the project I ended up doing like kind of a magazine angle. So like I have these articles that I'm laying out. So a lot of the stuff that I'm doing now is like kind of post-production type stuff. But when I'm not doing the post-production stuff, I'm trying to make a JPEG that I can put on Instagram, or figuring out an update or some way to promote, or writing an email. So that a lot of that is just, I mean, and it's like the project cycle. Like the project cycle starts with writing and then drawing and then then you're lettering, and then the last part of the cycle is the marketing. And it's just I guess, and again, I always feel like I don't know what I'm doing. And even though I've done this will be my 5th or 6th Kickstarter, it always feels like there's so much time in between that it's a relearning, that learning curve over again, all of the things.
Yeah. I mean, what's your timeline between your issues, between like just 1 and 2 for you guys? What was your guys' timeline for Street Fighter?
So what has it been? 1 or 2 years? I don't remember now.
Yeah, it was about 1 year in between. Well, getting the first one off the ground was like, it took 2 years, but that's because I took a break to finish up another project that I was working on. And but it's been about a year in between. And that's the other thing. Like, I wonder how much, if you're only putting out 1 book a year, how much of the audience moves on, instead of waiting for the next one. They find other things that they're interested in, or you lose that excitement that you might have had when you were first putting it out from the audience. So But yeah, it's about a year. I could probably shorten it if I wasn't so like ADD with my artistic pursuits. You know, if I didn't feel like doing woodworking here and then sculpting there and then coming back to it. So it's partly my fault.
What about the routine? What's been your time lapse between issues?
Too long. Actually, just listening to you guys, we've had about a year in between issues, and it does make me wonder, after hearing y'all, if the Kickstarter is adding more time in between issues. I don't really want to test that right now because we're only doing 4 issues and we're on 3. But I'd be curious to find out, I guess. But yeah, I'm right there with you guys as far as like not really enjoying, like, I mean, I don't even enjoy a lot of the post-production stuff, but especially the constant social media aspect that is inherent now. But there's also part of me that always is like, well, be grateful, because like I think of like, all the comic book artists and writers in the past who had to basically send stuff by mail to just comic book stores, or I forget what I'm blanking on his name, but the guy who did Bone, he had a crazy story about like getting his comics out, and I just remind myself like, oh yeah, it used to be like 10 times this amount of work. But I don't know, maybe that's not true since they didn't have like the social media part of things back then. I don't know.
That time frame does make sense, like a year between issues, and it kind of seems like a lot, but you're right when you're kind of producing and doing everything in that sense. Because you even do the colors on your book too, right?
I don't do the colors anymore.
Oh, okay.
I did it on just the first issue, and then we got Sarah Ferrullo to do them now.
That's right.
And I thought pulling off of colors was gonna make me go way faster. I don't think it saved that much time. But I mean, it's worth it because she's a great colorist, and it's a little less stress on my part. But I do the lettering, and I try to help with the marketing as much as I can too.
And what about like the formatting and like putting it into like print file and doing all that type of stuff? Do you take care of that?
No, John. It's a group effort, but ultimately he puts the files together at the end.
No wonder they're so bad.
Yeah, I'm responsible for sending them all to him, and then we kind of go back and forth with it. And if there's anything wrong, I try to fix it, or he tries to fix it.
Yeah,
it's
that
a
makes
lot of
sense.
teamwork.
Yeah, I think especially with formatting, sometimes you got to kind of have a few hands in the pot sometimes, because everyone's going to know something different, and everyone's going to kind of be able to contribute like an idea, or touch up something that was missed, especially when you're working on like different programs. We had someone using Procreate for a while, and it turns out Procreate like was not formatting the files correctly at all, which trips me out, because I know, like, I was talking to Tom Sicoli, and he fucking uses Procreate to format all of his files, and I'm like, how? Like, what are you doing that's like different from what our guy's doing? Because it just doesn't work. But I'm even having to learn Affinity and get better at file formatting myself, just to help out the team a bit more, because it could be, especially when you're doing like edits and you catch stuff after you print it and whatnot, like you just got to know how to do some of that to touch up your files. But I mean, when you're doing all that stuff and you don't have a team of like 12 people, it takes a year to put together a book, like you want it to come out great. And I mean, I guess you could do the route where you're releasing multiple issues at once, or a volume, but realistically, I feel like every creator spends a few years on one title, one run for a bit, not just it's not like a 6 month in and out game.
Yeah, this is I also have to remind myself, like, when we started the routine, that was our first full comic for John and I both to
Yeah.
put together. And so a lot of it, even still with the third issue, is like just kind of pushing around the corner of this learning curve where there were all these aspects to making a comic that these little tedious things like edits and putting everything together for print that I just didn't anticipate before we started this whole thing.
Dude, even like your colors and stuff like that can come out so different in print from what you were prepping sometimes. Like that, there's been so many lessons we've learned from just like, oh, this wasn't actually made in CMYK, or the way these blacks came out, you got to edit it so it comes out true black and not like faded, and little touch-ups like that happen.
If you're using Photoshop, learn how to batch. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it'll like you could basically go in and change one page, and then select the file, and it'll change every other page.
Oh, cool.
Like if you need to convert it from JPEG to PDF, or if you need to change the size by a 1/16 of an inch or something because a new printer wants it a different way.
Oh.
Yeah. So basically, you just go through, you pick the file, and I have to review this every time. I have to Google the question every time, but it's pretty clear on how to do it.
That's sick. I'm learning more of that stuff now too with Photoshop and Affinity, and just really getting my formatting stuff down, because especially working for CWS, one, I got to know everything, but also like it's wild what you learn when you're just making a book and how many skill sets you have to have. And speaking of that, let me catch up on the chat right here. Apex Comics was saying, I set up my own YouTube channel, create a few videos every week, and I live stream once per week. Plus, I go to other live streams in the chat rooms, make friends, gain some notoriety, and they sub to. Yeah, straight up. Honestly, that's literally, I feel like that's why we try to do this with CWS, is to kind of give everyone an outlet, like a way to reach people, and having people on the show, and like bringing on new creators and having new fans like you guys pop in. Like, it helps so much for people getting some notice and making friends. They continue saying, sitting and waiting doesn't help, but writing and drawing to get your projects finished. Visit comic shops, set up an artist alley table with your comics, swap meets, etc. Networking pays off, hands down. And then they're saying Billy Tucci, creator of SHI, launches both on Kickstarter and Indiegogo. He makes money on both platforms. Doesn't hurt to go on more than one crowdfunding platform. And that I'm observing very different and energetic art styles in the stream. Very nice. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, there's a lot there. I think even on top of trying to draw and gather attention and run social media, like a lot of us are like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna podcast as well to get attention to my comics. And now you're trying to make content as well, and none of us really signed up to be content creators. We signed up to be comic creators. Different sea,
But like you said, this wasn't even available in the 90s.
True.
Doesn't mean I don't hate it. It's just like in the 90s, I was making books that just sat in my room and no one ever saw them.
Yeah, I mean, that's so wild too. Like, now we have global comics, you have digital platforms, you have, stuff like this that tries to promote your work, all sorts of outlets to at least get it more seen. I couldn't imagine, like, I don't know. I think we're all fortunate to be doing larger print runs. Even if you do 100, 150, like that's a pretty good sized print run for an indie creator, I feel. And I don't feel like, do you feel like you were doing those type of numbers back then, Carl?
I wasn't doing anything. I was just getting rejection notices from Dark Horse and Image.
So, like, do you feel like the indie landscape definitely has like changed for the better? Like, it's easier to get into and to like.
It depends on how you rate it, right? Like, or how you value it. Because in terms of making money, it sucks. Like, this is a whole lot of time. If you're gonna like pay yourself hourly for everything we do, like it would be pennies, right? But in terms of self-expression, you know, a lot of people see our work now that would have never seen it, and we're in a community together now too, you know.
Yeah.
And you always have that chance too. One person makes it, they can bring their friends in.
I mean, that's exactly. Yeah, 100%, dude. I try to do that. That's why I do these shows. Is that like, okay, this is my job. How can I utilize like what I do to help people? Like, how do I get comics out there? And that's why I do all this stuff. Even I'm even I'm starting 2 new shows. Our newsletter tomorrow. We'll talk about it. Well, I'm bringing back Inspired Inc. So I'll start interviewing people on Monday nights at 6:30 EST. So plenty of I have so many people to talk to now. So I welcome so many people on that show. I already have 2 months full of guests, which is wild. But then I'm also going to be doing a bi-weekly Friday live show where I just bring on people who are crowdfunding and doing Kickstarters and help them promote that and get that out there. Because I feel like, when we post stuff on Instagram, man, I started posting, a couple of like little pieces of my art, and then at the same time, like it was like the anniversary of my dog passing and like my cat's birthday and like me and my girlfriend's anniversary, and like my art posts got like no traction compared to all of those. And so that's why I was like, you know what? Like, and even when we were doing Kickstarters, those get even less traffic or traction than any of those. And I'm like, damn, dude, like trying to promote stuff and like talk about your tiers gets so rough on Instagram and social media. And if I could do this live show to help a little bit, get everyone one backer. I've always tell people, if you could land one backer a day, you're going to be in a good spot.
Yeah. I have the same problem with cons too. Like I just did the Tucson Comic Con, and like I mean it was good, but it wasn't good as far as money making. Like there were like I ended up getting pretty pissed because like there were people next to me selling cookies, with a Game of Thrones logo on the cookie and food coloring, and like they were making money hand over fist. Like they were restocking their shelves every hour. Like I'm done trying to sell comics at a comic book convention anymore. Like it's just pointless.
I'm not gonna lie, like I'm kind of with you there in a big
I'm doing a
sense.
horror con and a library show next month, and I think those will be better.
Hands down. I can't wait to hear the results of that then for you. Because I feel like I do better, like what Hobbs was saying, I do better at my local shop. I do better at my library. I do better at off festivals. We did the cannabis festival in July, and then Positive Force DC events. For the time and energy invested and the revenue made, all of those were more worth it than the last 3 comic conventions I've done.
Yeah, well, just like the Instagram post, like I'll slave away for 40 hours on a page, get 12 likes, and then my girlfriend will post something about how hard it is to be a Cleveland Browns fan, and get like triple the likes.
Dude, honestly, like we were at BCIS, Brooklyn Independent Showcase, and the table next to us, they weren't selling comics. I don't even know what they're really selling. It just seemed like just like some prints, like not even a lot of merch in general, real small prints. And they were booming. And we basically had 2 tables because it was me setting up as the Apollo table, and then I had Javi Martinez, which is he's selling his art, but also like he does so many books for Apollo. He has a bunch of Apollo stuff there, and neither one of us were getting nearly as much traction. And we had like a full setup, and you're like, I don't know how that happens. But also, like I noticed the people next to us, they had people going to their table, but they weren't really buying either. They just had people at their table. Yeah, I don't know. It's odd. How often do you con, Tyler? I feel like you you do. I see your posts every so while, but I feel like you only do like 3 or 4 a year, if that, right?
Yeah, not as much as I'd like. I've done Heroes the past 3 years. And then I did a local library con pretty recently. That was interesting. Like I just sold this one print over and over and over again there, but nothing else. And then Heroes this year, it was actually like original art, which I don't usually sell at Heroes. Usually it's just comics, but I actually got to sell some original art this year. So it was actually,
Oh, cool.
it was a interesting Heroes Con this year. It was also my first year without John there, so that was different.
That's why you're making sales, dude. Like you just get.
No, that's why I probably sold less comics. But
John's great at the table. He ran the Apollo table with my girlfriend at IC3, and I was so happy for that because it was like her first time tabling because I had to like do Apollo and CWS,
mhm.
and John just like held down so well, and he's so positive, and he just makes it seem so easy. Um, I fucking love that guy.
Yeah, and I like it because I get more time to draw while he's talking to people.
Yeah.
But this year I was on the social end of things. But yeah, it was still a good year. I had my it was kind of funny. It's like my first fanboy moment. Someone was looking through my portfolio and like giving me really nice compliments, which always like makes my day when I'm there.
Oh yeah.
And it was Mike Spicer, the colorist for Daniel Warren Johnson's art.
Okay, I was like, that sounds familiar. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and it was just like, I don't know, I wasn't really having a great show, and then like after that, it kind of like made the whole trip this time worth it. But of course, like it was like the last day of the show, and I was pretty tired. And then I found he was Mike Spicer, and I was even worse at talking. But it was still a great experience.
That's awesome.
Those final day moments where you're just like spent and you're just like, I don't even care. I just want to go home. But you're like, oh, this is a good moment. Like,
Yeah.
So that
I don't want to give up on cons because I have a great experience at them, talking to people and all that. It's just that it's a loss of money every time.
Yeah.
yeah, hands down. And I feel like table fees are just too high. Like too
they're out of
high,
control.
man. I feel like if you're at Artist Alley, you should be paying more than honestly $100 a table, because sometimes you're lucky to make that, like I feel like 50, 75 or $50 a day, 75 a day, like that's fair. But when you start doing that dude, SPX was $400 for a table.
Holy moly.
Phoenix is like that. Phoenix, I collected $650 and still lost money on that show.
Jeez.
You travel, you eat,
know,
you print your comics. Like there's so much. It's not just your table you're investing in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that drives me crazy. Let me catch up here on the chat real fast. Apex Comics says, I love seeing small time creators making cool comics. Small limited print runs can make your comics more valuable. Yeah, dude, hands down. Like you gotta add that exclusivity to that. I do that a lot with my foil books too, for sure. Continues to say, cannabis festivals are great. People get high, eat plenty of food, and are willing to buy cool comics and art. Stone customers are the best. Hands down. I can't wait for next year's. It was the best show I've ever done in my life, and I've never had more fun somewhere. And then straight up the nicest people ever. I never experienced, like, when you table and you try to like get someone's attention and you're trying to draw them towards you, some people just give you a look, or they'll give you like a little, oh, that's nice. Like, man, I loved being in that community. It was just so great. It was so wonderful. And honestly, like, to be honest, I feel like the Black community is way more supportive of people in general, like in terms of creative aspirations and what they do. They were just so welcoming in every sense and just so hyped to even share work with other people. And I never get that at other conventions. I never get that at other festivals. Like, it was top tier. I can't praise that place enough. And plus, I mean, we have stoner books, so it does help out. But I don't know. It was. I can't wait to do it again. Other than the heat, which I think they're moving it back to April now because of that, it was 10 out of 10. Um, they were saying, I like Daniel Warren Johnson's art style, very raw and dynamic. Hell yeah. Um, is there? Oh, Kev Tierra Art says, is there a way to highlight an active speaker's screen? I can't tell who's talking. I'm actually not too sure. I don't think so. I don't think StreamYard gives me that option. But if I discover a way to do that, dude, I will activate that. I don't think it's letting me though. No. Weird. But let's see. Oh, I just found some other features I never knew about too. That's pretty sick. I can mute you guys at any moment, apparently, in this. I can mess with your mic settings, your camera. That's cool. But I can't highlight people. Apex also says Artist Alley tables should be no more than 100 per 6 foot space. 100%. Totally agree. Retro Roman Doomsday and Simulation Channel says, thanks for sharing your experience at cons. Oh, of course. I mean, and it varies. I feel like some cons are great to go to just to network. You know, I loved Heroes. I mean, I was kind of tabling there. I gave John and Jeff a place to sleep, so they let me like cram onto their table. And I didn't do great that year at Heroes, but we were in a weird spot that year. Were you in a different spot this year, Tyler, than you were last?
Yes, yeah, I was in a better spot than that year because we were like next to Howard Chaykin and John Romita Jr. when you were here, and that was rough. The people that were like on that side of the hall were really not there for indie comics. But this year I was like not pretty far from Artist Alley still, and Indie Island, but it was at least like on that side of the convention center. Which was nice. I was sitting next to the Cosmic Lion people, and
Sick.
I was next to Anton. That was the first time I got to meet Anton. He's
Love
awesome.
Anton. Love Anton. I'm gonna see him this weekend. I'm so excited.
Tell him I say hi.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Did you grab a book of yours? I'm sure he would have. I'm sure he'd love the routine.
Yes, we did a book trade. Yeah, we had. Anton also made my weekend at Heroes.
Hell yeah. I love hearing that, dude. And I love Anton. I can't even express it. They crashed at my place for IC3, and my cat Sebastian that hangs out with me mostly, the tabby you guys see on screen. Those guys just bonded so well. Like he like fell in love with Anton, and they just like snuggled. Great creator, great dude. I can't speak highly enough of Anton in general. And the Cosmic Lion crew, like, dude, Eli's taught me so much, and he's given me such good advice and helped me out. I really respect all of them. Ro Higashi's amazing. Rick Lopez, Adam Lema, all of them.
Yeah, I got to briefly meet Brunson too.
Oh, cool! I haven't met Brunson. I gotta get him on the show. I bet he'd be down to come on.
I should have given him our book, but he's doing the variant cover for this issue.
Oh, sick!
Yeah, so you should take a look at it. It's pretty interesting.
He's a great guy from what I've heard. We've been in the
Yeah,
same
he's
area.
really
We
nice.
haven't met yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think he's gone to too many cons, but I mean, I hope he goes to more because I really like his work.
Oh, so you were like more on Indie Island then, more than anything. So you're in a way better spot than.
I was still pretty far from Indie Island.
Oh, really?
I mean, I guess it was technically Indie Island, but it's like the Indie Island that's a small Indie Island off of the real Indie Island. It's a little further away than that, but
Oh, yeah,
Close-
the layout's so
close to the
bizarre
wall.
too. Okay, all right. I can kind of have a good idea of where you were at. All right. I mean, I think that location was everything. I feel like when we went, we were just in the uh like shoved in the corner, like next to the Q-Berts, and we were just like kind of hidden in a sense. Like we didn't get a lot of traffic.
Yeah, I remember there was like one point during that show where like we overheard people saying like, I will read nothing but Marvel and DC, and we were all just like, shit,
Yeah.
this is this is not a good spot.
I was like giving away free indie books, and like whenever people would line up for Jimmy Palmoni and Amanda Connor, and whenever the Q-Berts would line up, all the little fan dudes, like free indie comics, here you guys go, and nobody. I think I handed out like 3 out of the 200 people standing in line. I was like, all right. One of them was out of sympathy too. One guy was literally like, dude, I saw you handing these out from way over there. How many did you get through? I was like, 2, and he was like, I'll take a couple, man. And I was like, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, it was a rough time.
Still had fun though. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so worth it because when you're with the right people and you meet and you like network and you do that type of stuff, like it really does make up for the pain of nobody caring.
Well, you guys also had the drive too. I live in North Carolina, so it's not quite so bad for me. But I couldn't believe you, Jeff, and John all got in the same car and drove down.
Yeah, it was fun. That's how we survived probably and got through it. It was just like it was just a fun bro road trip at a certain point, you know what I mean? It was more adventures than anything. I think that's what you got to look at it. I mean, I try to think of it as like, going on tour, but without your whole band, and so you're just hanging out with a bunch of friends and just
Yeah.
trying to make the best.
I really want to go to IC3 this year. I'm not sure if we'll get in, but I used to live in New Haven, and I couldn't believe they started doing that con like right after we moved.
Man,
We need something like that in the Southwest.
yeah, hands down, yeah, because Southwest is rough.
We have ASCAP, but it's small. It's really small. And Kevin Easton just always shows up and takes all the money.
I bet, yeah, it's just collector at that point. Yeah, I mean, IC3 is great. I can't wait for them to announce the next one. I know things kind of slowed down since CAF runs a lot of that now, so they have to like do some different type of planning and promotions and whatnot. But that's a great one. I think of some others. I heard like North Carolina does have some decent cons though. I feel like J Red has been to a couple.
Yeah, I'm in Durham, and I haven't had much luck with the Durham con, just because it's out of my price range. They don't really have any like artist alley prices.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
What are they looking for?
I'm not gonna say anything because I didn't look this year, so I don't know. But there was one a couple years ago I was trying to do. I think it was a Galaxy Con, and it was like I want to say 400 a table, and I didn't know any better back then. It might have been more than that, and I was like, up until the week of the con, I just kept getting email after email, like, we're really booked, so we're gonna move your table further out. And every week it was like the table got further and further away from Artist Alley to the point where it was out in the hallway of their convention center. I was like, well,
Wow.
you can give me my money back because that's a ripoff.
I've never heard of anyone doing that. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those cons where I think it's like just mostly celebrity focused, and like I said, I just didn't know any better at that point. That probably wasn't my scene to begin with.
That's one of the lessons too, is being like, okay, what cons do I actually like belong in? Like sometimes what we're making just doesn't fit the vibe,
Yeah, I did a library con, a pop con pretty recently here, and it was like it's like a part Renaissance fair. And it was a library. It was a really cool con, but might not have been like the best fit for indie comics guy. I mostly sold like my Paddington Totoro print, and that was it. I did have a few people that got the comic, which is nice, but it still felt pretty slow. And I was expecting crazy stuff because it was my first library con. I hear so many good things about them.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I was like, dang. Here we are just like boasting about our library cons and shit. Yeah, it's funny that I'm sure that print of yours does pretty well in certain environments because it draws that type of customer, and it's just like that's why a lot of people do fan art, you know what I mean? Like they know they got to make that money. And I kind of wonder if sometimes you have to have those couple pieces up of like, well, let me draw you in with this alien or Spider-Man or something, you know what I mean? Like, let me do a killer Hellboy. Like, you just slay it on this one piece so you could get people to walk up to you, and then you could sell your stuff.
I actually learned about that in advertising classes. Like, people need familiarity.
Yeah.
It really helps.
Yeah, I've actually been thinking about trying to do a bootleg comic specifically because of that.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah,
Yep.
I bought one from Jim Mafood at Tucson Comic Con. He was killing it with that.
That's how Home Slice got big too. What's his the Spider-Man bootleg? Mighty Keen kind of blew up with that Spider-Man bootleg, and I was like, you know what? That's what gets attention. I'm working on one with Artie Murphy right now, actually.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm hyped. It's
Wow.
it's a Gene Simmons Spawn bootleg comic called The Daemons.
How do you do it without getting sued? That's my big question.
Small run.
Well,
Yeah.
Small run, you can't sell it. However, you could sell the sketch inside of it. So, something to think about there. You're not making money off the book. You're making money off the art that was drawn in the book. You're selling mine and Artie's like headshots and whatnot, or things like that. And then you also market it. Salvatore Comics just said it as a parody. So
yeah, parody is important.
Okay.
Makes
sense.
I'd imagine you only get sued too if you're like doing massive amounts of sales.
Yeah.
They have to see it as like a threat to their IP. And usually at these Comic Cons, I mean, everybody's infringing on copyrights and nobody seems to care. So I don't know. It seems like this unspoken thing at Comic Cons about doing prints and fan art and all that stuff that it's acceptable within those bounds. But if you
free advertising.
Yeah.
This is all Jim Mafood did. The sketch here.
Oh, sick. That's sick.
I mean, it took him like a minute.
That's sick. Yeah, I backed that on Kickstarter. I was pretty hyped for that book. And it gave me a bunch of ideas, inspired me. And I was like, that's the easy way to like just get some fun stuff out there in a sense too. Plus, like, I don't know, if you do Batman, or honestly, everyone start working on your Batman and Superman stories, because that's going to be public domain in a couple years. So you work on it now, you'll kill it soon.
There's other things too. I was next to a writer. His book has cryptids in it, and he just learned how to make plushies. So he made these little stuffed animal toys, and he's like, he's like, I just sew them up for about a week or two before the con, and he's like, I always make my table money back with those.
See, that's the thing. Like, you're like, okay, I want to be a comic book creator, but I'm fucking making plushies now, so I can sell my comics.
Yeah, that's the hard thing too, because he sold more of those than comics, but it was paying for the table.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're just like, okay, well, at least I sold as many comics as I could with these, and I got some stuff out there. But you made some. It's a smart move, honestly. Yeah, not bashing it in any sense.
When I watched those people making all that money off the cookies, I mean, they were getting return business the same day and next day, like return business. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna set up a coffee maker.
Yeah, Dude, yeah, I'm
Anything with
gonna get one of
caffeine or
those little
sugar is
baker
gonna sell,
machines.
right?
Get what are those little bake ovens like you used to see as a kid? For
Tasty
Toki,
bake
those easy
oven.
bake ovens. Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, get
Yeah.
one of those going.
And you,
I
you
didn't. I didn't have one of those. Why would you say that?
Let me catch up on the chat real fast here. Thank you guys for being so active tonight too. Makes me super happy. Apex Comics says Howard Shakin can have a brutal attitude if he wants. We were next to him at Heroes. That was another person we were next to.
John got something like signed from him. He was apparently a really nice
Yeah,
guy. He said he talked to him after the show.
yeah, right. I
Which
remember
is
that.
cool.
Huh?
Yeah.
And you're saying John Romita Jr. very nice. John Romita Jr. is one of the nicest guys I've ever met. And I bashed on John Romita's, like, I'm not a fan of his art, his like later art, but like he is. I've had lunch with the guy. So sweet. Like I will never take that away from him. Um, Salvatore Comics says Adam introduced me to the show. Oh hell yeah, dude! Hell yeah! I didn't realize you and Adam were connected. Um, Erwin Papa, hey, Heroes Con was Brunson's first con ever. How sick! Oh, that's cool.
Wow.
Apex is saying Marvel and DC have been very negligent to their fans since 2016. No more Marvel bullpen from the 70s until the 90s. Indie comics currently gain more fandom. Dude, hands down. I feel like they're just not. I mean, DC just pulled another move today I didn't agree with, but like they just don't treat their creators right. And when you are that big and you're just hiring freelancers and not giving anyone benefits, like it's just like, why are we breaking ourselves for this in a sense, you know? There's a weird appeal to like want to work for those companies, but then you're like, is it worth everything?
And that's why we're gonna do a bootleg instead.
Dude, straight up. Straight up. William Ibanez saying someone just posted about this on their reels. It's insane. I think he's referring to that that tabling incident that you were talking about, Carl. Does that make sense for that timing? Apex Comics, I would not display my art and comics if the voice actor is more popular than the comic artist. Yeah, I get that. I won't display at a con if the voice actor is more popular than the comic artist. Oh, okay, it's crazy. Free advertising for a popular character, and then Saboteur was saying, but with public domain, doesn't the character have to appear the same way it originally did, like in Batman's 1932 style? I don't. Oh, and we got a correction. Batman first appeared in 1939. There you go. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
I don't think so.
I don't
You know,
think so. I mean,
actually,
they make.
a friend of mine that I served in the military with, who is now an entertainment lawyer, and she said she's going to meet with me and help me out, and I can ask her that question.
Yeah.
She is definitely up on all this stuff.
I don't think so. I think it's how they keep remaking like Dracula or Frankenstein movies all over the time. I mean, I think you can do whatever you want with them.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Well, AI can answer that question too. I'm pretty sure you can put your own spin on it.
Go to the expert text.
Oh,
think I'm done with. Oh,
sorry. Go ahead.
I would say Jeremy and Hobbs. I finally did the inks for this. I didn't draw all week since last spilled ink, so I'm barely finishing this image, but like getting close to gonna do some last ink touch ups. But this is the pinup I'm doing for you guys, so I'm pretty hyped for
I
it.
wish I could look. I wish my phone wasn't so small. So I could see it.
It's looking good. I love what you did with the staff. That's awesome.
Oh yeah,
That's so cool. And again, thank you so much.
thank you. This was a challenge.
It's great.
This is my first digital drawing. I've never like tried to do a digital thing until now, like from pencils to like this. So I'm pretty hyped. Thank you. And now I got to figure out how to color it, which I'm. So when I color, I don't know, maybe you guys give me more pointers, but like when I do a palette, I just find an image and I just like upload that image as a palette. I don't know if that's a bad way for print, but
That's a Jeremy question. He's he knows all about the digital coloring.
yeah, what's the best way to do that? Is that a
Well-
bad route?
Wait, like, are you trying to decide how to like pick colors or to how to?
Yeah.
Oh, oh
I was
man.
just gonna like do this and just like I select it and it made me a palette and I was just gonna use this palette right here.
Oh damn. I don't know anything about that. I just do it au natural. You can kind of see me doing it now. I have like a general idea, and then I just go in and I just start like, hue saturation, and I'll start like adjusting things to kind of get an idea.
Oh, so you're kind of like doing flats first on that, huh?
Yes, yeah. The way I'm not much of like, I don't really like render. You'll see. Well, I can open a different character here, but um, uh, you'll see as I get to it. But I don't do like rendering. I just do like two tone, like kind of tune shaded. Um, so I do start with the flats, and then I have overlays with just like the shadow, and then an overlay with the. Hopefully, this is showing up okay on the thing,
Yeah.
but.
Really
An overlay with the highlights. But yeah, I always start with the flats, and it's a lot. I mean, sometimes I know the general scheme. Like I knew I wanted him to kind of have like a purpley vibe, but the detail that I don't know for sure. And I try and limit the palette to to the scheme to a few. Like I mean, unless it's requested. Like this was one of our other characters, and she specifically requested to have just all kinds of different colors in her outfit. Typically I try and like make it thematic, or limited, I guess is the term, a limited palette. So I'm trying to stay potentially within like the purples and fuchsias for this one. And of course, I'm realizing I didn't ask Jerry about any of this or Hobbs about any of this, so I don't know if this is actually what he wants, but
I actually didn't think about it enough, so I'm glad that you're making these decisions for me.
Oh, okay, good.
you got the satyr, you got the briefcase, you got the purplies so far, and you got the tie. I'm happy. This is looking good to me.
Great. So I don't know about like automated palettes or anything like that. I apologize. I've never tried any of that. It's all just kind of instinct. All that was a long way around of saying I don't know. I just kind of do it.
Thanks for nothing. I'm kidding.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
That actually, that's great though. You know what I mean? Like that lets me know, like, just fucking figure it out. Like whatever works for you.
Well, I mean, yeah, using the slider and just kind of going in and seeing what you like. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know there's rules. I took color theories in college and all that, but I don't know. I just go by osmosis. I just, whatever sunk in over the years. I don't know. I wasn't a very good student, so I don't know the rules.
Just
Feel that.
But just do the limited palette and get a color wheel and just pick colors that are next to each other and try to limit to 3 to 5. That's a good way to start. Or do opposites on the color wheel and do red and green or something like that.
Ah, okay.
There's an artist I follow, a French colorist. I don't know if you can see this, but she puts her color palettes.
Oh, cool.
Right there. So you
sick.
could literally screenshot that and use the color picker.
Oh, dude, yeah, you gotta send me that account.
Yeah, Caroline Color Palette. Her husband is a French Western comics guy. He draws all this.
Oh.
Yeah, she's really helpful. And you can see, these are limited. Brown is considered orange. If you're looking at the color wheel, brown is orange. So
Okay.
Orange and blue are opposites on the color wheel. So she's actually just doing complementary colors here.
See, that's gonna be my next study thing. Is like, well, I'm kind of getting inking down a bit more. I'm more confident in that and drawing in general. So coloring is the next big hurdle. coloring and like learning computer stuff. That's where I'm at right now. It's like I'm gonna figure out how to like format stuff. I'm gonna figure out how to use some of these programs more. I'll put up my reference here too. Um, Let me see here. So let me catch up on this chat real fast too. Retro Roman Doomsday and Simulation Channel says Batcula versus Swamp Wolf. Dude, yeah. Batcula versus Swamp Wolf. That's what I want. Apex is saying Dracula and Frankenstein are public domain. And sub to our channel. Hell yeah, dude. We just I sub back to you right now too. Hell yeah. I'll get you on the Apollo channel as well. It's tough to limit your color palette. Yeah, I feel like it's just he's an old school marker artist. William was saying that link helps me out with color. Oh wow, cool, dude. And William, dude, your coloring is awesome. I give you a little shout out. Like I love the covers for Codex of the Jaguar. They're so beautiful. I feel like you choose really awesome palettes. Yeah, it's a whole thing. I've never thought about coloring before either. So this is just like completely new to my brain. Like even Tyler, like when you go to your coloring, how do you approach that?
It's like it's halfway between winging it and some color theory stuff, and then also like looking at a bunch of paintings and illustrations where I like the palettes they used and the themes they used. Sometimes I'll base it off of like a Van Gogh painting for choosing my colors.
Is there vibrant there in a sense?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, that is kind of like a big part of my influence when I'm thinking about color sometimes too, which I haven't done that much this year, but it's that and Miyazaki movies too.
Ooh.
I kind of pull from those.
Yeah. Kurosawa too. That made me think of that.
Yeah, a lot of movies, and like I said, like just paintings too.
Interesting.
Just don't color. That was a funny thing that, like, when I talked to Jim LaFood, he was like, he's just putting everything out in black and white, and he's like, because it's indie comics and everyone's coming over from manga, like everyone grew up on manga, they're totally used to black and white. Like it doesn't hurt. It used to be killer. It used to kill your sales to do black and white, and that's not true anymore.
That's wild. I'm putting out two black and white books.
Yeah, it saves so much money.
So
cover.
I will do black and white and still print in colors sometimes because the blacks when you print in color come out a lot deeper.
Yes.
But if I'm looking for like a somewhat lighter black in that and not so heavy, I will just do black and white at that point. But I have two books I'm working on right now Teenage Babylon and Fake or Death in black and white. I think with those books too, like we're trying to figure out the right balance to like show the artwork and to like also print well, because you don't want it too light and gray in a sense.
Yeah. But I like, Max isn't here tonight, but I like his idea of just putting every book out in both black and white and color.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
and that's what they taught me in school, is that like the drawing should work in black and white, and then you start coloring it. You don't use color to try and save it.
Right, exactly. That's what I've always thought. I think of coloring as like your distortion or your phaser or your other pedals. Like you have to know how to play it without any effects, and if you could play it without any effects, it's then you're solid. Your effects are supposed to amplify it. But like if I wanted just to put something out, it should pretty much live well with just black and white.
That was part of why I actually stepped away from colors by the second book, because I realized I was anticipating the colors fixing any problems later. And so for the second book, like the goal was like, okay, we have our own colorist now. Like I want every single page to be a piece of art in itself and not just
Nice.
which is not always practical because this is still production art. But I felt like I grew a lot from stepping away from color for a bit, even though I do miss it. Although I can't really compete with the colorist we have right now, Sarah. She's just phenomenal. And yeah, I'd be curious to like know how she decides on her colors too. It's a pretty unique palette.
That's freaking sick. Yeah, I was just thinking about the routine issue too, and I was like, yeah, your art really did. I always forget that you switched over at that point. I'm excited to see issue 3 now. That's the cool thing about indie books too, is that you really see some growth, and like when it's like people you know and your friends, and you see the transition from one book to another, it's like super exciting to see like what has changed.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, not just artists too. I mean, like it's been fun reading every new script John puts out too.
I edit his scripts.
Yeah, it gets better and better.
Yeah, John has always blown me away as a writer. I'll never tell him that to his face though, but definitely say it on the show.
He'll probably watch this, so
Yeah, he's probably watching right now. Yeah, that's oh cool. That's I think even just doing the show every week and just getting myself to draw for 2 hours for sure locked in every week, because not every week I can get to the drawing board, but like it does encourage me to draw throughout the week, and I've been drawing so much more over the past year and a half. I was just organizing and like labeling some the first drawings, and it trips me out like what you could even do within a year span and shit. Like things I'm doing now I would have never imagined a year ago. Ooh, K-pop Junkie was just saying, I see a ton of creators adding an artist edition to their campaigns. I usually always grab those too. I've loved seeing that too. I've really loved seeing. I would love to see more black and white artist editions, or just like that director's cut type of thing come out a bit more with some bonus stuff.
That's a cool idea.
Apex Comics was saying Kenneth Rocafort is a brilliant ink color artist. His art is wonderful, mind-boggling. Dude, I'm gonna look him up. Thank you for that. And also we have K-pop in the house. Hello, K-pop Junkie. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. You've sent over some great connections to me, so thank you for that. Continue to say I love black and white books. Apex was saying yes, black and white books are cool and more affordable to print. Gotta love them. And Apex was also saying color could be a pain if the book printing is too dark. Offset printing can correct that problem than digital, in my experience. Yeah, a lot of our stuff for small runs and everything are just so used with digital printing and whatnot. And I feel like you have to like really find that balance and kind of shoot your shot your first book or so. Maybe make some edits with that proof, but it's hard to edit an entire book sometimes. You just kind of maybe just learn your lesson sometimes. Do any of you guys go back and retouch up files or stuff like that? Like I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do another run. I could finally fix this thing or something.
Yes, all the time.
I'm far too lazy to do that.
I think when we finish all 4 issues, I'm probably going to do that with the first couple, just because I thought I was pretty good at lettering when we first started, and I go back and I'm like, shit, I really don't want to go back and fix some of this, but it might be worth it for the trade.
I can see that. I can see touching things up, especially if you're doing a trade and you're moving into that direction for sure.
I have a few panels in some of my books where I'm like, for continuity's sake, I could just swap out this panel, swap out that panel, make a new panel, and then it would be a little bit more consistent. So I definitely see some of those things, or where like I have a character and he could have been in a scene and he wasn't, and it would have made more sense. So I mean, it's kind of the George Lucas route, right? Where you just kind of like,
Right.
But I think, I mean, because like, you know, we only publish so many small amount of copies, generally speaking, like, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, especially if it improves the project. You know, when you know, going from issue to graphic novel. And so if somebody picks up that graphic novel, their experience is going to be better than it was. So I don't know. I go back and forth on that. I haven't done it yet, but I really would like to.
I feel like it's easier to like, that's the time to do it. You could excuse mistakes in a single issue practically, but like you want it to be polished for that trade.
I always go back to like I forget which episode of Kayfabe it was, but it was like when Ed was talking about like it's never finished until it's in print, and then even then it's not finished sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, we find stupid typos and stuff. In fact, I just did a print run of an Outcome the Comics, our first book, but the file I grabbed wasn't the one that we had re-edited. And so like in the credits, there's two credits. There's a credit for Teenage Babylon written by and created by me and Nick, and then there's Elliot's Song created by me and Nick, when it should just be Elliot's Song. There's no story called Teenage Babylon. And so like now this new printing we're doing that we put in perfect bound, it has that error, and I'm like, oh, glad this was a small run. gotta adjust that again.
It should be done as a learning exercise too. Like you're saying, you're looking at work you did a year ago, and
Yeah.
you know, so maybe you want to go back and redraw a panel just because you know you can do so much better now.
Yeah, I would say so for sure with stuff like that too.
You know, just don't get. Some people will get so hung up on it they'll never get to their next book because they're just constantly correcting the first book or whatever.
Yeah, I was looking at my Stoner Wars pages, and I kind of just like wanted to redo that first like story, or at least a couple panels in it, like going back to it, because I was like, damn, I know I've leveled up even since this page. Like I know that was like the beginning of summer, but I could definitely do this better.
Some people won't draw the book in order because they know the quality will gradually get better and better, especially when it's your first book, and it might be too noticeable. But if you bounce around, it just, the same consistency kind of averages out.
Dude, I don't know if my brain can work like that though, because even when I script out stuff,
I hate working out of order, but I can understand why other people do that.
100% for sure, I could see that. But I'm with you on that. Like I'm not crazy about going outside of like, because in my brain I'm kind of building the story and I'm seeing it and I'm doing stuff, and that way I can make cohesive edits to go through. I don't know.
Yeah, like if I were an actor, I'd want to shoot this movie in sequence, but it's not always possible, you know.
Right, yeah. I know some people will save like crowd scenes till the very end, or like the bigger spreads, the more time consuming stuff, and just to like blast through the majority of the work on it.
I think that's dangerous.
Yeah, I like to do the fun stuff first, but I've never tried to do a book out of order. That does sound a little weird, but I don't know. Because
I had to do it a little bit because I've gotten layouts approved and they're not always approved in order, and I got
gotcha.
And I don't like it. I can do it, but I don't like it.
K-pop was saying, or Apex was saying, I want to see some K-pop junkie art. The audience demands it, dude. The K-pop. Let's get you on Spilled Ink. Let's. I'm gonna add you to the group chat, and when I call for people to come on next week or in the coming weeks, I'm hoping to see your name. I love that chat. A lot of people share art and their campaigns, and it's so fun just being like, who wants to come on the show this week? And we get a few people tossing their hands up. It's always the best. It's slowed down because summer's here, you know what I mean? So everyone's kind of like
Oh,
figuring out their schedules. T'Challa, get off my computer, dude.
in
T'Challa.
Arizona, we're
T'Challa.
just trying to survive. The last month is, you know, you were in Texas. Like the last month is just like, God, how did I do another summer here?
Oh, dude, yeah, Arizona's brutal, man. I've been there this. I'm from El Paso, Texas, so I've definitely visited Arizona during that time, and
Yeah.
I don't miss the desert. We were watching Dune the other night, me and my girlfriend, and she was like, "So that's home," and I was like, "That's home. That's El Paso, just dirt."
At least I got mountains.
We had one big mountain. Got that at least. But yeah, no, Arizona's way prettier than El Paso. I love.
Yeah. I mean, 8 months out of the year is beautiful here. I live by a national park, but
Oh,
getting
cool.
through this 4 month period of time is just awful.
Yeah, it could be like 125 outside, and you could be blasting your AC, and you don't feel it. You go in your car and you just cook. I had a friend try to like bake cookies in his car at work one day. Oh, T'Challa, dude, how did you open coding? Brandon, we need that Coachella spelling comic. That code, what? Well, I don't know. I'm so sorry, Saboteur. I don't know what you're talking about. We don't need that Coachella spelling comic. Or are you talking about T'Challa, my cat? He's actually named after Black Panther. That could be it. What up, part-time comics? Hey, are you running a campaign right now, or are you about to launch a campaign, John? I don't remember. Sorry, my spelling sucks. Saboteur. Yeah. Yeah, dude, T'Challa's fucking ridiculous, dude. He's just a demon. He's the sweetest little demon ever. Um, John was saying his campaign launches Tuesday. All right, cool. Super hyped to see that next one pop up, my dude. Um, John does some really cool books. I think I'm gonna like switch up some stuff. I was gonna kind of make it similar, but toss some greens on him now. Let's see here. T'Challa, stop messing with my shit. Yeah, and I think, the other part is that I have a good sense of what inking brushes and like sketching brushes to use on like whenever I'm doing stuff, but then I'm like, oh, like when you color, that's a different tool in itself completely. Like I gotta figure these stuff out just to see what I like.
Yeah. Try to avoid that 80s over airbrushed look. It can be tempting in the beginning.
Feel that. That makes sense, yeah. Hands down. I've never been. I think it's also because I grew up in El Paso and everyone would airbrush their t-shirts for and they had t-shirt shops with airbrushing and everything. I said never. I'm gonna try this guy out for some hair though. For his beard. Darker green. Yeah, this will work. Yeah, it's I'm really am enjoying digital work though. I see the appeal. I see how people could get used to it and just stick to this for a while. But I feel like if I did start with traditional, I wouldn't understand this as much. I think it would have been too overwhelming, and I needed that like, oh, I only have 2 pencils and 3 things to ink for the next 6 months. I'll figure these out. But I suppose that's art tools in general of figuring out, well, what's my weapon?
School is usually going to tell you to go the traditional route first and then digital. I don't know what's better, really.
I'm going to be getting Anthony from the Qbert School, the guy that runs it, on the show. So I would love to hear some of his insight on some of that type of stuff too.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be happening pretty soon.
Man, all the teachers that were there when I went are retired by now.
Oh, really? Oh, cool. I forgot you went there. That's right. We talked about that one time.
I think Kim DeMulder is still there. He was a good inker. He was working on Swamp Thing when I went.
Sick.
Doing that Tuttleton style, you know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I want to get some of these other people on so people could ask like questions, get some advice, like learn some things. But also keep indie creators in the loop too. So kind of add some more flavoring to Inspired Ink. I used to just do indie creators, but now I feel like there's some knowledge that needs to get passed on and advice made, and I feel like that'll inspire people a little bit more too.
Yeah, when I listen to this show, I like that. Like, there was one episode I just literally opened up a Word document, and started typing in all the stuff you guys are talking about, like all the computer programs and the YouTube advice for coloring and stuff like that.
Oh, rad! That's super great to hear. Thank you.
I'm gonna do more of that.
Yeah, it's sharing the knowledge, man. I think that's all of us want, in like a digestible way too.
I feel way worse about my coloring explanation earlier.
I think everyone needs to hear advice in different ways too, because it doesn't click the same for everybody. And so different variations and different explanations or methods, that's what we all need to hear.
Well, specifically coloring is tough because ultimately it boils down to a lot of intuition, because two people can do things totally opposite way and both be successful.
Yeah, 100%. Completely. Even like two newbies, like two beginners, like you're probably going to approach it with a different mindset or a way in general.
Well, and it's mood, you know, like you can break all the rules because you're drawing something that's supposed to make the audience feel uncomfortable. But then you use like garish colors or whatever, like you get the it doesn't follow the rules, but you get the emotional effect you're looking for.
Yeah, that's a big thing I'm trying to figure out now too, is like I'm reading it's downstairs, Framing Ink, and that just talking about setting and mood, trying to apply some of those inking methods to coloring too.
I could probably use some. Be nice if someone came on here and like was a professional colorist, because my coloring is like sometimes it's really good and sometimes it's not. Like it's inconsistent. So there's something I need to know instead of just getting lucky, you know.
Ooh, okay, I'll try to get someone on. That sounds good. I'll definitely do that. I would.
At the Qbert School, we didn't do color until the second year.
Honestly, the only reason why I don't get some of these bigger creators on and stuff like that is just like purely like energy and focus and time to do outreach and whatnot. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
you're overworked, man. That's a legitimate excuse for you.
oh, thank you. Yeah, I am trying though. I'm always trying to get someone cool on. I'm actually getting like Alex Segura on Inspired Ink. He's a really cool writer as well, who's done some great novels, and he just did that the Questioned series that just came out with DC, the Watchtower little 6-issue mini. But that and like Tom Sicoli's on the list and some other really cool people. But I need to go to cons again and to kind of rebuff some networking, and I'll get some cool people on. They're always down. I just gotta like send the email. Fucking...
Yeah. I had a lot of luck with like when I do like real moody stuff. But now I'm working on, after I finish this, I'm going to go back to the other book I'm working on, which is set in Hawaii. And it's like all this beautiful tropical colors and all this happy stuff. And I'm like, I can't do it. I need a dystopian society, you know, or a desert landscape or something.
And Carl, do you do your own lettering too?
Usually, not when I'm working with Pork Chop Express.
Oh, okay.
My lettering is like, that's something I want to get better at. Like, it's at a professional level, but barely. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't add anything to the book, you know, but I don't break any rules. Like, it works.
That's cool. And Tyler, you do a lot of like your own lettering. What's your approach to that? Do you aims? Like, how do you practice your fonts? Because even like the routine font, like, very rush looking, you know?
You mean like, our logo?
Yeah. That's what I meant,
Yeah, that I used to teach like Photoshop and Illustrator, so that's where, and I thought I was gonna be a graphic designer, so that's where like the logo stuff comes from. As far as like lettering like balloons goes, with the first issue I thought I was gonna do it all by hand, and then I was like, well, that's never gonna get done if I do it that way. So I've used a couple different programs that like turn your handwriting into a font that you can type. And so that's what we use now. So it's still my hand at least in the lettering, but most of my focus is on things like, you know, are these letters too close together? Are they spaced out? Can this A be next to this E? Do I need to move it over more? That kind of stuff. Really exciting.
Those fine-tuning edits, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Did you say you're doing the balloons by hand?
No. I thought I was going to with the first issue, and then I was like, we're never going to finish if I do that.
So what program are you using?
I used Bird font and calligraphy to make the fonts. And then I've used kind of a combination of Photoshop and more Clip Studio this time, just because Clip's just so good with letting you use the balloons.
Yeah, I've heard that from a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do everything in Clip Studio. It's really great.
A lot of people, once they get that, they feel like they stick to it. You know what I mean? Can you use it on your iPad? Is that?
Yeah, that's what I'm in right now.
Oh, dude. And it's like a one-time purchase, isn't it?
I think I pay yearly for it. I think it's
okay.
I think I do. I actually don't know. I know it's yearly. Maybe like $60, $70 a year.
Yeah, I think you can do monthly or yearly.
Okay.
Still not bad if you're gonna be using it that much for everything you do. You know what I mean?
I do start to finish in here. I export the PDF I send to the printer straight from here. I mean, I don't do anything in any other program.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that's better than an Adobe product for price.
Yeah, because Adobe's $60 a month. I'm canceling Adobe and I'm just getting the Affinity suite because for what I use, it's really all I need. But I'm wondering if I could eventually do digital letters.
That's why I letter everything on by hand, because I don't want to learn all that.
If you just have Photoshop, it's only $22 a month.
Oh, jeez, so much.
That's still silly for one program.
Yeah, I can show you the. Let me find one of these books because it has like the layout and everything. Like I can do the whole issue, the whole book right here in Clip Studio. Like here's issue 3 of Bounty. It's not. They kind of got stalled, but like it's all the pages are here and the layout, and you can create a new project each time to tell it the pages and stuff, and then like I do all the bubbles and stuff like you were saying. The bubbles are super easy to do in Clip Studio. And then I can just go and I can just export PDF right here, and that ends up being what I send to the printer. I don't know a lot about stuff. Maybe there's some settings I probably should be doing better, but like it gives you all the, like when you set up the file to begin with, you can set up the bleed and all that. So that's what these lines are here, and the trim. So all that's kind of good to go. And like the panels, it's really great with creating the panels. So like, why didn't it open that? I don't know why it didn't. Oh, whoops, there it goes. It automatically sets up the panels, or there's a panel creating tool, so that you can create them. And then it basically just puts each panel into its own like group in here. So I can just work in each panel individually, not having to worry about too much. I don't know. It is great time saver. I mean, I know it's still working digitally, but I can just, and it's all on my iPad, so I can just go work straight through, all in one program.
That was nice. I've never had any problem just getting a template, like from Comix Wellsprings or whatever printer has on their website. Just get that template and start with that. And I've never had a problem with the finished product as long as I do that.
Yeah, that's how that's how I figure out like the bleed and stuff. Like I'll know what the printer wants for a certain, like that was a magazine size. So the printer I use, I just, exactly what you said, like they usually have templates and you can find out exactly how much bleed you're supposed to use and all that. And then you can just set the file up from the beginning like that and good to go.
Our first book, I made the huge mistake of not looking closely at which Comix Wellspring template I had. And I thought I had another template that matched, and we had to reformat a lot of stuff.
Oh shoot!
It was awful. But since then, I have the Comix Wellspring template on lockdown for every single thing I do, just to avoid that nightmare again.
Yeah, that's where that batch comes in handy too. Because I did a 148-page book. It's all saved as TIFF files. And they all had to be converted to PDFs because nobody wants TIFF files anymore. But
nope. That's crazy though. That's so rad. That's good to know. It's great to know that you guys are utilizing those resources.
Time, man.
That's weird.
Time is so important when you're an indie creator because we're doing everything.
Yeah, kind of bouncing back to the earlier conversation, like of that 1 year timeline. It's, even Fake Your Death, the book that I'm getting close to putting out, there's so many things we're running into along the way of, well, the art's done, and now we just got to touch up the pages a little bit from the scans, and then the script is done, so I'm typing that up so letters can hit, but then we're like, oh, well, we have opportunities for back matter, and then you have to design the interior and front, and touch up the cover and back cover. Like there's so much that goes into just more than just what you were thinking for the first part. You're like, wow, okay, I have a ways to go still before it's a finished product.
You know what helped me? This is when I was balancing out a lot of work, day job stuff. But I just set a goal of a page a week.
Oh yeah, there you go.
And then even if I didn't meet it, all of a sudden my productivity still went up.
I had a similar goal, and now my goal is at least 2 pages a week at this point. But I don't know if you guys have ever heard this, I don't know, advice. I've heard a couple different creators say it, but shoot for a page a day. And I've always wondered, do they mean like a page a day, like every 24 hours? Or do they mean like a page in like a normal person's work day?
When I was in school, because I went to the Cuber school, most of my teachers were comic book artists. They said a good penciler would do a page a day, but that's just penciling, nothing else.
And is that day like, is it 24 hours or is it, like 9 to 5?
Most of them wouldn't say. I think they all had different the different opinions. Now, Kim DeMulder was an inker, and he said he worked. This is the best schedule ever. Now, he had to work 7 days a week, but he only worked 6 hours a day.
Wow.
And it was 3 hours in the morning. Then he took a 3-hour lunch break, and then he did 3 hours in the late afternoon.
Wow.
Like he would work like 9 a.m. to noon, and then he'd work 3 p.m. to 6 p.m.
That kind of sounds
Great.
awesome to me.
Yeah, he would like spend
Yeah.
his afternoons on the golf course, you know, like rest his eyes, get some exercise, whatever. Like he's like, you never burn out. But you do have to work 7 days a week. So like if he wants to take a vacation or something, he'd have to, you know, push it and work a lot more to get ahead. Speakers also got paid more back then too, because colors were pretty much flat. Now the colorists make more money, and their job takes a lot longer. It also matters with the book. We had an interesting conversation about like what you should get paid for a book, because like if you're drawing X-Men, they had these fans that would write in like, you know, there was a group shot and I didn't see Colossus, and Colossus is my favorite, you know. But then if you're drawing like Daredevil or something, you've only got one hero to stick in every panel, you know. And you can do a book like that usually a lot faster.
That's wild. Huh?
That makes sense.
You know, and even with stuff like that, I don't know. I feel like it's I absorb a lot of like interviews and, you know, comic book history, and I love stuff like that. Like that's my favorite. That's my jam. You know, even like old comics journal, you know, stuff like that. But like the advice creators gave in like the 90s, 80s, like some of their like writing routines, you know, oh, you got to write, you know, once a day, you got to do this. It's like, yeah, like I get what you're trying to say, but like, you know, times are so different where it's just like, dude, you didn't have to bust your ass to fucking afford rent or worry how you're going to eat with prices and, you know, like manage your social media and stuff like
Right. No
it's
social media. Just their royalty checks would exceed anything, you know, what everybody's making now total.
yeah, you know, like, and I'm like, you guys gave great advice if the world still operated like that, but it's, and then we try to apply those rules to us now, and we end up just like hurting ourselves, you know, like really messing with things at that point, because this we operate on a different, the world's different now, you know, like I can't spend a month without work to work on a project, you know?
It makes me wonder how like all the creators in other countries are doing too, because you see a lot of outsourcing right now, and I gotta think that's why it's working so well for them, is they can afford to live a little bit easier over there,
Yeah.
wherever they are.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone remembers this. Well, I was a kid. I was a teenager. There was a Chinese company that I think they were trying to piggyback off Lone Wolf and Cub, but they had these like kung fu comics, and they were putting out 6 a month, and they all looked like one artist was doing them. I'm like, how the hell is this happening? Someone finally explained that they had an assembly line, and every artist drew what he was good at. Like one guy just did backgrounds. One guy was awesome at figure drawing, you know. One guy would ink, one guy would letter, all that. But it was literally like 6 people doing the drawing, not just letter, not just different people doing lettering and stuff like.
Yeah, I think a lot of us would even appreciate just something like the bull pit now, like you hear about way back in the day.
Yeah, everyone should have that. That was a job too you could get right out of school.
That's wild. That is super wild.
And afford to live in New York City on their salary, but
Right?
it would never happen now.
Yeah, that's why I just, you know, I respect him, I love him, and I wish I could do it, but it's just so different now. And I think we're all kind of figuring it out more and more. And especially for people who, like I said, post COVID threw us all out of whack, I think, as workers and as creators. Like we were opened up to something, and then it was stripped away, in a sense, depending on what you did, for a living and whatnot. But I think a lot of people discovered how freeing making art was during that time, and they rediscovered and got out of the grind, and we're trying to figure out how to make it. How do I do my 9 to 5 and then come home and make art consistently and compete with everybody? Because I'm sure there's more indie comics now because of COVID than there would have been if there wasn't COVID, actually.
Yeah. Well, and that's like even advice we would have gave 3 years ago isn't maybe relevant now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be interesting listening back to some of these episodes one day in the future, hearing feedback from them, and people check out like the old catalog in 3 years,
I think you need to get advice like we were just talking about lettering. The tail of the word balloon should point to the mouth. Period. Not to someone's chest. It shouldn't cross over someone's face and then point to someone's mouth. Like those kind of rules will never change. And I think those are the kind of rules we need to learn from the older people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Know what's still valuable and whatnot at that point, Like, don't break yourself trying to be like, oh, well, it's going to, Alan Moore said I need to do this every day and that's it. And it's just like, no, I mean, they lived in a different time. But with that, we're approaching the end of our show, guys. This has been an amazing stream. 2 hours blasted by. I think we all got a lot of work done, which I love seeing. I love seeing people make progress on their projects during the show. And I think I made a pretty good indent of progress too. So I'm pretty hyped. But let's do a little round table of sign-offs. Tell us where to find your stuff, share what you worked on. If you have anything you want to share about your campaign or anything coming out, please feel free to do so. And we'll kick it off with Carl over here. Because you're first on my screen.
Okay. Yeah. This comic kills fascists. This is I'm always doing this backwards. This is going to be page 2.
Oh wow,
page 3.
dude. That's sick.
Yeah, these bottom 2 panels are mostly what I got done tonight.
What pencil do you use? I don't think I've asked her.
Oh, I go from a 2H to a 3B.
Okay.
And when you get, and I'll start with the soft, and then I'll go to the hard pencils and almost use the hard pencil like a blender. Instead of a blender, because I could talk about I don't like that airbrush look, and then a blender can do that, right?
That's wild. Okay, that's so sick, dude. Love it.
Also, it's funny you were talking about finding a publisher instead of Kickstarter, and I actually did find a publisher for this book here.
Ooh.
It's an Australian company. I'll put them up on my website. Oceanacom is the name, and they print to every English-speaking country. And so this book will be, I don't know exactly when, but it will hopefully be on some in some bookstore somewhere, or it'll at least be on Amazon.
That's awesome.
Big, dude. Yeah, I can't wait to check that out. Congrats, man.
Yeah. And I will send you this book here. I just put this on Global Comics.
Oh, sick.
It's a wraparound cover. So it's free right now. It can't stay free, but
so read it now.
Yeah.
And then buy it.
And then I'm going to run a Kickstarter on it next year.
Cool. Oh, yeah, dude. That's beautiful.
That's all Comix Wellspring.
Yeah. Dude, killer. Carl, it's always a blast having you on the show. Thank you so much for doing what you do, my guy.
Thank you, man. Thank you for all this free publicity.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
And
we'll bounce over to...
not just totally alone in my studio, like going mad, right?
Dude, vibes. I mean, that's what's great about the show. It gets us all to... the bullpen, you know what I mean? Put us on a roll, and we're just gonna work on stuff for a couple hours, and I makes us all get something done. We'll bounce over to our boy Hobbs over here with that hand coloring right there. So sick. I was actually trying to look at your image right now as I color the Green Knight, so it's perfect.
So Jeremy and I are still crowdfunding Green Knight Street Fight. So if that sounds interesting, this is the first issue, and it's Knights 90s and nostalgia. It's kind of like the Goonies meets Captain Planet meets Terminator 2. It's all hand colored. And then my other book series that I work on is called Fuzz Bouquet, and it's kind of just a whimsical fantasy story. And this is the comic. This one I do on my own. Again, just hand drawn, hand colored, and about a fuzzy monster who wants to be a cheesemaker, but his fuzz keeps falling into his cheese, and no one will eat his fuzzy cheese. So he decides to become a dragon slayer instead, and he begins his misadventure throughout this fantasy world. So that's what I got going on.
I
Where'd
love
you
how
say
like
we
beat
could
up all
find
those
that?
spines.
I'm sorry. Where did you say we could find that?
I think Hobbs froze for a second.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Where can we find Bouquet at? Do you have it on your website?
Fuzzbouquet.com. Yeah, it's just www.fuzzbouquet.com. And you can order it through the website.
Oh yeah. All that's we got links for everybody at the bottom. So if you guys want to check out all of that, and their Kickstarter, there is a link in the episode description. Oh yeah, Hobbs. Well, cool, dude. We'll connect. We'll talk about our next creator meetup too. Super hyped about that. But man, killer job,
Sounds
dude.
good.
Traditional stuff, slayed. Jeremy,
Thank you.
let's check out what you did. Oh wow,
Oh,
that's dope.
Right. It's coming through.
Yeah, that's great.
This is gonna be Jerry's Satyr Warlock for our D&D campaign.
Cool.
Has nothing to do with the comics.
It sucks we didn't even get to talk about the D&D campaign and whatnot. But next time we get you on, we'll talk about that more.
Well, I'm sure he'll probably be dead by then. We'll see.
Love it.
But yeah, no, we got the Green Knight Kickstarter going on, like Hobbs said. I don't have anything else really going on. I don't have all my books here next to me, but I've got one of them is the Roll Your Way, which is like a choose your own adventure book. But instead of choosing, you roll a die to determine what page to go to.
Oh,
One
cool.
my wife wrote. This is actually the combo edition. There's two stories in one. So there's that. I think I've got over here. This is the one that my most recent one that I worked on called Bounty. That's that magazine size one.
Ooh,
But
yeah.
this is the, there's 2 issues now. It's about a customer service representative who dreams of being a bounty hunter. But yeah, our website is, or where, if you're interested, is the perilousadventurestudios.com. Bit of a mouthful, but yeah, that's where you can find those.
Oh yeah. I think there's a link down here. I pulled them from your Instagram, so whatever was on your Instagram
Okay,
is in
thanks.
the episode description. Yeah.
Thank
Oh
you.
yeah. Dude, killer job. Oh, whoops! I accidentally hit the wrong button. Killer job, Jeremy. Just trying
Thanks.
to. And Tyler, dude, man, that looks great with that nib.
It's coming along. Yeah, so this is like actually I was gonna show you some examples. So this is like our first issue, and in the back of the issue we have this final page, which is like next time on the routine, and then it's a bunch of stuff that doesn't actually happen in the next issue.
Amazing.
Love that idea.
Yeah, so this is that final page of issue 3, where it's just stuff that will not happen in the 4th issue, but it's still fun to imagine. And yeah, I only have my proofs out for the routine right now because that's what I'm comfortable with letting get beat up the most.
So that.
Let's see.
Got that poster on my wall.
Yeah. And the routine's action comedy about henchmen working for a lame-ass supervillain magician. But at its heart, it's about making friends in the workplace. And this is our second issue.
Yeah, that's where it looks very Daniel Warren Johnson. I swear to God, I had a double take when I first looked at that cover because I was like, did they fucking? And then I read the name and I was like, oh, this is still from Tyler, dude.
Thank you. I'll take that compliment. And then so we have we're doing our third issue is on Kickstarter right now. And you can find that. You said you put the links in there.
Yeah.
We're also on Global Comics too. And then we got some pen ups in the back. It's Jeff's. And then again, the next time on page with stuff that doesn't actually happen. And I don't have the third issue right now. Otherwise, I'd show you that.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
Super beautiful. Well, I guess I'll show you guys what I did real fast too. I'm working on this little homage for Jeremy and Hobbs here. So got the inks done today, starting the coloring process. It's going to take a few strides at it, but kind of having fun so far. Super hyped to put this together though. You guys rule.
Awesome.
But yeah,
Sweet.
I'll be at XPX this weekend saying hi to people. So definitely if you're going to be there, let me know. Try to find you, do a quick little interview, get some footage. And then dang, I don't even know. We have so much going on. To check out our Inspired Ink comes back Monday night. I'm really hyped to have the indie creative team that we're interviewing on that show. We have 2 creators on there. So check us out 6:30 p.m. EST Monday night, or follow up on the episode. They'll all be going back on podcast platforms as well. And then we'll be announcing our next crowdfunding show officially next weekend. So that'll start up probably in like 2 weeks. And I'll be opening up a forum where you could jump in and, promote your Kickstarter crowdfunder. So try to help people out, get a little extra word out there. And as always, Thursday nights, come hang and draw with us. I think I'm in town all the way until Baltimore Comic-Con next month. So we will be drawing and hanging and doing all sorts of stuff. And hopefully I will finish coloring this soon to get it to you guys to print. Really
looking
hyped.
good.
Hell yeah, thank you. I should have just given it to you to color, to be honest. I regret not asking you to do it, but I'll do it. But thank you guys so much for tonight. I had a blast. You guys are the best. And thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Thank
Brandon.
you.